Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it with more updates on P Diddy. We got some new names that came up as of recently, but if you ever want to check out my previous videos on updates I've covered in the past on the P Diddy case, you can definitely check them out. The last one that I did was with Jay-Z, whose name was recently brought up, but that lawsuit has dropped as of recently. So now Jay-Z is now suing that person for defamation. But today we need to talk about two individuals that you may or may not know about that are now getting caught into this shitstorm of a lawsuit, and that is Druski and Odell Beckham. You probably know Odell Beckham. He was one of the wide receivers for the New York Giants back in 2018. As of right now, he's currently a free agent. He's not with any teams at the moment. And of course, Druski, you probably have seen him at least once or twice on the internet. He is a comedian, and he's an internet personality. There was a 2018 sexual assault case that was recently amended, and they added these two names into the lawsuit. If you ever want to check it out, you can look up 2018 Ashley Parham, Ashley with a Y, and then Parham as in Parham. There's like a court documents that's like out in the public. You're able to read it if you want to. I'm not going to get too much into specifics, though I will read some parts of it so you can get a better understanding as to what happened in this situation that the plaintiff is accusing these two men for. But as we predicted before many times over, there are going to be a lot of celebrity names that will come up in the P Diddy case. This is definitely one of those instances. So we're going to read the court documents a bit, and we're going to break down what happened in 2018 that led the plaintiff to accuse both Druski and Odell Beckham for these crimes. So this took place almost exactly 7 years ago. It started at a club or a bar or whatever. We had the plaintiff that met the defendant Shane on February 2018 after an altercation with another man at a bar, and the defendant Shane came to the plaintiff's rescue. So just moving forward, the plaintiff is going to be known as Ashley. We're just going to say Ashley moving forward. While outside the bar with friends and other patrons, defendant Shane FaceTimed the video called defendant Diddy was showing people defendant Diddy in the video of his phone, attempting to impress people with his famous friend. Defendant Shane then showed the plaintiff defendant Diddy on his video call, which Ashley ignored, stating that she was not impressed by him knowing defendant Diddy because she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. So it's not uncommon that there is this belief that P. Diddy had some involvement with the murder of Tupac. This has been something that's been going around for years. Now, of course, it's one thing to discuss with your friends like, hey, I low-key think, P. Diddy has something to do with the death of Tupac, but it's something else to say it to P. Diddy in his face or on video call, at least. Visible in the FaceTime call was defendant Diddy and some of his children, including his sons Christian and Quincy. It appeared from Ashley's perspective, Diddy was having a get-together at his home during the time of the FaceTime call with Shane. Diddy heard Ashley's statement and made a remark that Ashley would, quote-unquote, pay for her statement regarding Tupac and overall dismissal of Diddy. So it was very clear that Diddy did not take that very lightly. He was around, his relatives, like his sons, for instance, and you have some random stranger in the FaceTime alongside, Diddy's friend, Shane, saying, oh, I know you had something to do with the murder of Tupac. Diddy was probably a little bit embarrassed by that. He didn't like that. He took it pretty personal, and he said, all right, bet. You are going to pay for that. And it's pretty scary considering that we already know that P. Diddy is a very powerful individual. We already covered the fact that he one time blew up Kid Cudi's car after Cassie broke up with him, and then she was later dating Kid Cudi and was making threats to Cassie. So if P. Diddy is capable of blowing up Kid Cudi's car, I can only imagine what he would mean when he says, oh, you're accusing me of being involved in Tupac's murder, okay, you're gonna pay for that. Like, the moment when you hear that, you can only imagine what P. Diddy would be capable of doing with the amount of power and resources that he has at his disposal. I guess Ashley and Shane became friends of some sort. This is kind of weird. So on March 23rd of 2018, Shane invited Ashley over to his home to assist him with his cancer medication because he stated he was weak and unable to open his medication. this was pretty random. The documents kind of just cut into this, but apparently he had cancer. Upon Ashley's arrival, Shane informed Ashley that he wanted to give her a ride in his new car. Ashley and Shane left his residence for a brief period and then returned. Once they returned, Shane left the door to his apartment partially open and stated that the door was ajar because there was an issue with the door where it couldn't close completely. The door is always open, just slightly ajar, because there's something wrong with the door. I've never heard of a door, you know, broken in a sense that you can't close it for some reason. I find that to be kind of weird. And I'm not sure if it was like a screen door or the actual door itself to the apartment. By the way, it was like a 2-family apartment. So I guess what happened is Shane owns the lower level of the apartment, and then the owner of the 2-apartment house is a woman with like 2 dogs that lives at the 2nd floor. But still, I rather find it weird that you have a door that's just open all the time. Like, I don't know. That's just a little bit weird to me. But anyways, we're not going to think too much into it. We're going to keep it going. Approximately 10 minutes after Ashley and Shane returned from their drive, Diddy entered the Shane's residence. Diddy entered the home in a grand, unquote, ready-to-party manner. His grandeur entrance was so loud that the dogs upstairs began barking. Along with the defendant Diddy were his bodyguards, Big Homie CC, KK, Brandy, John Doe 2, who upon information and belief is a friend of defendant Shane and Diddy's driver, John Doe 3, who remained outside in his vehicle during the duration of Ashley's assault. Ashley believed Shane invited her over to set her up to be assaulted by Diddy because of the statement she made about Diddy a month prior. Upon Diddy's arrival, he immediately began to antagonize Ashley, stating that, on quote, she thought she would never see him in person, on quote, pay for her statements about Tupac during the video call that Diddy caught Ashley. That has to be a very terrifying experience, that you have someone that told you a month ago, hey, you're gonna pay for what you said, and then a month later, you see this person just come out of nowhere. And mind you, he's not just P Diddy just showing up. There are multiple people that are coming into this residence out of nowhere. So I'm not going to get to the specifics here. You already know what's about to happen here. Basically, Ashley would get sexually assaulted by multiple people. Yes, including P Diddy and Shane himself. Now, the situation with Druski is actually the one that would stand out the most. And I think the situation with Druski is the reason why everything is trending, because of what was said in the court documents relating to him. So as we fast forward to the 76th sentence of this court document, Diddy then instructed another defendant, Doe, to also sexually assault or rape Ashley. Doe has been determined to be the defendant, Druski. Instead of immediately raping Ashley, Druski dosed Ashley with more oil and lubricant, and then jumped on top of Ashley's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide, and knocking the wind out of Ashley due to his enormous size. This is crazy. When I first read that, I was shocked for like a minute, because it sounded so outrageous to just type that into a court doc. First of all, like, we're referring to these defendants by their aliases. We're not really referring to them by their government names. And then it's the use of the word slip and slide, which is like something weird. It's like, I never even knew they would use that in a court document. I don't even think you can treat a human like a slip and slide, but here we are, I guess, because of the oil and the lubricant that was used. It's just something that I just can't simply imagine. At some point during this ordeal, Ashley remembers defendants referring to another defendant, Doe, as Cornelius, and remember the name because it was so odd and unique. Ashley has come to discover that defendant Doe, Cornelius, who sexually assaulted her, was defendant Odell. Now, of course, Druski and Odell Beckham has denied these accusations. They're calling them like unbelievable, it's ridiculous, it's outrageous, the whole 9 yards and everything. But we need to discuss a few things, and I feel as if these things are pretty valid to bring up. Now, when it comes to Odell Beckham, it's plausible that he may have some connection or may have met P Diddy sometime in the past during 2018. I mean, he is an NFL football player. Odell Beckham has made appearances at many parties that include celebrities, so it's no surprise that Odell Beckham would have some connection with P Diddy at some point in his career. But then you have Druski. Druski has spoke up about this. Of course, he denied these allegations, but he did make a statement saying that he had no connections with the entertainment industry around 2017, 2018, so there's no possible way that he was there during that assault. From what I've learned about Druski, Druski started making content at around 2017. This assault took place in 2018, so that means between him making content and the incident that took place, he must have met P Diddy within that year for him to be so close to P Diddy that he would engage in this kind of crime with him. It's also very plausible that Druski created content and he started going viral. He got really popular within that year. Because Druski was getting very popular, he showed up in P Diddy's radar, and P Diddy wanted to link up with him and bring him into his group. Druski in the past has mentioned that he has attended many of P Diddy's parties, so I feel as if it's also very easy to connect Druski to this sexual assault case because he has been to these parties before, so it's very easy to assume that Druski has somewhat of a very close connection with P Diddy, more so to the point that P Diddy would include Druski into his circle of people that would commit these crimes. Who knows how many times Druski has been involved in these ordeals. I'm not sure if this was his one-off kind of thing. He said he attended many parties, so maybe there may be more lawsuits that may come up that may drop Druski's name into the lawsuits as well. I have no idea. It is still pretty wild that I've read this whole document. I spent the whole day yesterday reading the entire document of all the situation that's went on. The point being is we have more names that are coming up in the P Diddy lawsuit. And I can almost guarantee y'all there's definitely going to be more names. Now, with the whole Druski and Odell situation, it's absolutely outrageous. Just reading this was insane. And I can see why it was trending. I can see why some people may think like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, you jump on her body like a slip and slide. Like, come on now. Who types these things? I can completely understand that. But then at the same time, P Diddy is a very sadistic dude. He gets turned on by a lot of freaky deaky things. So it's just as plausible to say that, yeah, those things definitely happen. Like, come on, we're talking about P Diddy at this point. But other than that, that's really all I have to say. All of this is alleged. I'm not saying all of this is true. I just wanted to keep y'all up to date on this whole P Diddy situation. And until then, y'all, that's all I have. Peace.